What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and yeah, there's not much more I can say that would really explain what happened. Um, Other than Argentina's just better. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not much else you need to say other than that. But because this is a review, I have to say more. But also because it's late, I'm going to say a little bit less than I normally. I'm going to make this quick. So, one of the good things about this game, from the U.S.'s point of view, is that we didn't pull a Mexico. Um, we could have honestly given up at one point. After the first goal, it really, at that point, all the plans go out the window. Any plan of trying to maybe strike an early goal, attack them quickly, hit them on the counterattack, something like that. Any plans of that went out the window in the third minute of the game. We could have just said, you know what, screw it, and just did nothing. But even at the end of the game, Argentina is just stroking the ball around because at that point it's 4-0. But it's still nice to see that they are actually trying. They're trying to win the ball back. They're trying to do something with it. That's good to see. And even if we don't have the skill right now, we do have some young players that are getting time in these other bigger leagues. Pulisic on Dortmund. Emerson Heinemann is one player I know just from playing, like FIFA. He's a player that ends up on the team, and he's 20 years old right now, so he's still young. And he was at Fulham. Now he just got sold to Bournemouth, so now he's in the Premier League. That's good to see. It's good to see that these young players are getting a chance to play at bigger leagues. Now they're going to start growing as players. Now they're going to be a bit more skilled than what we have now on the team. As long as we can keep that fight and that desire to play, that's going to help us in the long run. So that's the one good thing that I can pinpoint out of this entire game. The rest of it is kind of what I was expecting. I ended up going out to eat with some friends to watch the game at a restaurant, so I wasn't able to actually listen to what they were saying. But you could still see the scrolling stuff, kind of. There was a lot of typos, I think. But one of the things that was being talked about before the game, pregame, they always sort of give their predictions of who's going to win. Everybody except for Fernando, because everybody was like, oh yeah, U.S.A. And the two of them, I think Stewart and Ali were the other two besides Lawless. They seemed like they were saying, okay, well, they have a chance to do it. Maybe if they hold them on penalties and take it to a penalty kick shootout, they've got a chance to strike one. And I'm just like, okay, so they're being hopeful. I get it. Fernando called it how it was. Argentina's the better team. They're going to take it to them. Just like, okay. Lawless is an idiot. He said this after, I can't remember which game it was. I think it was after the Argentina game, after they beat Venezuela. He said this then, and he said it tonight. He's like, USA is not the underdogs. And then Argentina went out there and proved USA were the underdogs tonight, and they didn't do anything to upset them. But, I mean, honestly, it's one thing to be hopeful. It's one thing to be positive. We've got a chance tonight if we can maybe, like I said earlier, if we can strike a goal early, hit them early, and then bunker it down, try to hold on to that one goal lead, maybe give up one, but then now we're tied going to penalty kicks, and from there, it's anybody's game. But to say that we are not the underdogs is just, it's almost a slap in the face to Argentina to say that we're not the underdogs. No, Argentina is clearly the better team, and they proved it. So that early on kind of set my tone, my mood. But I mean, from the very beginning, they clearly outplayed us very early on. But the first goal was a sloppy one to give away. You've got one guy not paying attention. They don't track. Now you've got a man getting a free header. Guzan is stuck on his heels. Now he's not able to get up. And it was a sloppy goal to give away, especially 3 minutes in, because like I said, at that point the plan is completely out the window. Now you can't. Now Argentina not only is going to be a better team, but they're also going to be a better team that's going to sort of sit back and say, okay, we got a 1 goal lead. Now we can just do whatever. Now they have freedom to play because now we have to really push forward trying to get it. From there on out, though, it was Argentina's ball game. They had it. It was completely them. They had so much more skill. They have so much more pace. They have so much more everything. Uh, but going in order of the game. Next up, the Messi goal off the free kick. Wow, just Ronaldo, take notes. I hate Ronaldo, and one of the many reasons is just how egotistical he is. And then you've got him every time he sets up for his free kick. You've got him setting up like I'm the best. His legs spread apart. Messi just steps up, takes it, and puts the ball pretty much untouchable. At first, whenever I watched the replay, like the very first replay, I'm thinking, okay, so Guzan did sort of take a step trying to cheat, expecting it to come over the wall. Maybe that's. And then you watch it close up, and you see it like nick the bar as it's going in. I'm just like, no, he's not touching that. Like, unless you're one of the tall, like Courtois or Joe Hart, one of those really tall keepers that have just incredible arm span, arm length, whatever. Unless you've got one of those keepers, you're not saving that. He put it dead on the spot. It was ridiculous, and it's what you expect out of Messi. He is the best footballer in the world right now. So from then on out, though, it was just sort of a messy game after that. U.S. they were trying really hard, but ultimately what it came down to was just a lack of skill on the U.S.'s part. You're watching them run after every ball. They're trying to chase down every ball, and Argentina's just passing around the field so easily, so smoothly. And then whenever USA have the ball, they try to work something. It's kind of desperation passing. And so they end up one bad touch, one panicked touch, and now Argentina just steps in and wins it smoothly, and now they've got the ball back. Now they're keeping possession again. So during the entire second half, it was just sort of a sloppy game. And, even from Argentina, it wasn't exactly the best. They got the 2 goals, both of which were... first one was just sort of strange. Like, I talked about USA didn't quit. In that one moment, I was worried that they did because, 4 minutes in, and everybody just sort of stopped. Guzan makes a great save 101, and then nobody follows up. Higuain's just like, oh, okay, no pressure, cool, and just goes and chips it over Guzan. I'm just like, really? Are we not going to try? And then after that, they sort of stepped it up. It was better. But then ultimately, skill just took over, and they scored another one. So, if I had to go, I don't know if I can go individual performances on this one, solely because I can't really pinpoint anybody out. Like, I can't think of anybody that I'm just like, oh, they had a really bad game tonight, or oh, they had a really good game tonight. Everybody was just sort of there. Like they were kind of bodies on the field being passed around by Argentina. If I had to pick out a few of the worst and a few of the best, I think having Beckerman and Wando on the field is always going to be cause for trouble just because they're just so poor as far as players go. Beckerman is just he's not a good player. He's not a player, really. And then Wando, he's an MLS player. He does well there. He scores goals there, but that's MLS. It's not that difficult. So those two probably the worst of the night. Defensively, across the defense, they all did fairly well. Managed to keep it respectable for most of the game, at least. Didn't let in any, aside from the one Higuain goal where everybody just sort of stopped, they didn't really let in anything really crappy. Like you think about some of the goals Mexico let in, it was just, you were embarrassed for them. Tonight there weren't any of that. It was just couple moments of defensive lapses in concentration, and goals happen because Argentina is just that good. Uh, Into the midfield, Bradley, I think, had a bit better of a game tonight, which was kind of shocking to me. His passes are still awful, but he was actually working really hard tonight. Whenever he gave up a pass, he worked hard to win the ball back. So I still want to see him passing better because that's what we need him in there for. That's what he used to do really well back in the day. When Bradley was actually a name that you wanted on your team. Uh, Not so much the past 3 years, but anyway, it's nice to see that he is working hard. He's not just giving up and saying, "Oh, whatever," gives the ball away, gets frustrated, stuff like that. Um, Zardes and Zusi were on the wings. Zusi comes in for Bedoya because he's out, and they did okay. Zardes, I think, he's still showing that he can do stuff at times. I prefer to see more of it throughout the entire game, not just these few moments throughout the game. But he definitely has a lot of talent, and I, I want to make sure that I'm not saying anything incorrect here. So let me check this. All right, he's 24. So I feel like I've looked this up before in one of the other reviews, but he's not really that old. 24 is a good age for playing football. So it's nice to see that we've got a player like him who could possibly be one of our stars in the next couple years, especially with Dempsey getting up there in age. I feel like he might be able to step in for Dempsey whenever Dempsey's gone. So I'd like to see him move out of the MLS though, because that's where he is right now, and I feel like you're not going to grow in the MLS. You look at Neymar right now. He was at Santos for how long? And he knew he was stagnating there, and that's why he ended up moving to Barcelona to grow his career, to become an even better player. So I'd like to see Zardes move somewhere else and really start to grow his game beyond just, "Oh, I'm fast and I'm strong." I want him to actually become a bit more skilled with the ball. Because you can see glimpses of it at times, but overall, he still doesn't have it. Uh, Dempsey, he's just a workhorse. I always enjoy having him in the side whenever we can because he works hard for the team, and that's always good to see. Um, Sub wise, I like seeing Pulisic end up getting a good amount of time, beyond just, "Oh, let's throw him in for the last 20 minutes." And ultimately, he didn't do anything incredible or special, but there were times where I'm just like, okay, like he wants to fight, and he's 17 years old, and he's sitting there like holding the ball up against three Argentinian players trying to win it. It's nice to see that he's got that fight in him, and that he really wants to do all of this stuff. At times, maybe a bit too much, but whenever you're playing against the number one team in the world, if you manage to do stuff like that and actually almost create half chances, that's good. Especially at such a young age. Hopefully, he will be a feature in the team for these upcoming qualifiers. As one thing that's being talked about in my little circle of friends watching. We're playing some fairly easy teams in the qualifiers coming up. I'd like to see him and some of these other youngsters that are coming up, all these promising players that we've been hearing about. I'd like to see them get some time. Uh, I think Birnbaum is the other guy he came on as a defender, pushed Cameron up into the midfield, which in my opinion is his better position, and he did make some good defensive plays as center defender, but whenever he got up into the midfield, you could see him pressuring a lot more, and he was much more involved defensively there, because I think that's more his position. He knows what he's doing there. Center defender, he has a sense of it, but not as good as when he's in the midfield. So that was nice to see. And then Nagby was the other one that everybody just kept, "When are we going to see him? When are we going to see him?" He came on for like the last 10 minutes, I think, and didn't do a whole lot. So overall, team performance-wise, it was okay at times, it was good at times, and then most of the time it was just sort of non-existent. Like we were just sort of there for Argentina. It was almost like a scrimmage for them. But I mean, at the end, we really got to see some of that desire from the U.S. And that's always good. It's always good to see a team, even if they are 4-0 down. It's always good to see them try, to push on and do something in the game, not just give up and sit down and do nothing. I think that's about it as far as this review goes. I'm trying to think if there's anything else worth mentioning. I don't think so. So I actually found this out tonight because I was unaware of how the Copa America worked. We do have one more game left, the third place match. Hope it's good. Probably from what I've seen, of Chile and of Colombia, I imagine we're going to end up facing Colombia again for third place, which is very strange when you think about Argentina and Chile were in the same group and now they're about to play each other. U.S. and Colombia were in the same group and now it looks like they're about to play each other again. So they didn't set this tournament up very well. But anyway, one more game. Hopefully, if it is Colombia, we can get a bit of revenge on them, for beating us in the first match. I feel like we've got a bit better of a chance this time around because I think Klinsmann sort of figured out what he wants to do now. And it's not just in the first game, the first few minutes, it felt like we just had no chance at all because it was all so confused. Some people were playing out of position. It didn't feel like it does now. Watching tonight, even though Argentina were just crushing us, there were moments where I'm like, okay, this is a side that actually has a chance against a team like Colombia that's not the number one team in the world. So I like to see that. I like to see us get to play Colombia again now that we've sort of figured out a rhythm. I don't think we're going to be missing anybody. I know Wando got a yellow, but who cares? It's Wondolowski. But I'd like to see, we have our side now, the side that we've had in the latter stages of the tournament, put that up against the Colombia side that we played earlier on, and maybe we'll actually get something out of the game. So, hoping for third place would be the best. So, final thing, check out my shirt. I mean, look, Chelsea Deadpool. Deadpool is now a Chelsea fan. I love it. It's awesome. And some of you are going to be like, but he's supposed to be red. I don't care. It's Chelsea blue. Get over it. It's a good shirt. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the game tonight. Let me know what you thought down in the comments below. What would you like to see going in the third place match? Who would you rather play between Chile and Colombia? Would you rather have a revenge match, or do you want to try to play Chile and get revenge for our fellow CONCACAF Mexicans? I honestly think most of the U.S. is like laughing at Mexico right now because of how poor that was, but maybe that's just where I'm from. We're laughing at them and everybody else is like, oh. Anyway, so let me know what you think down below. We can discuss it and talk about it. Leave a like and subscribe for future USA reviews, and I'll see you at the next game. Peace out.